All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the 13th of December, 2021. Roger here. This is 914 Porsche LS3 build, part number 7. And what we got here, just a quick little overview in case you haven't watched the other videos. This is a 914, what's called a GT wide body. Not really a real one, of course. Otherwise, this thing would be like $80,000, $90,000. But this is a one that's got the flares already attached to it. And basically, I should be painting this thing within about 2 weeks. I know it doesn't look like it right now, but a lot of prep work, and I think I'm almost ready to do this. So I'm gonna show you real quick what I've done since the last video. LS3 motors in, you've seen that in and out, in and out, in and out. But since then, I've got this attached to it. I built where my ECU from GM Performance Parts is gonna sit in there, and I made that nice little cool bracket right down there. And Jeremy, expat over here in Germany, is gonna actually chrome that for me. I've got this mounted on the inside, and I know you can mount all this stuff inside the engine compartment. I decided not to do that just to keep it away from the heat and all the other good stuff. This is, I guess you would call this is like a catch can or overflow or fill. And this is just a cheap can from Summit Racing. I think they're like about 50 bucks. And this is a typical Chinese knockoff. Nice stainless steel and do nice TIG welding on it. And this is my overflow can right here. This will be a little bit TIG welded. On the bottom, I'm going to have an elbow that sticks it over here and goes into the water block that Renegade Hybrids actually sent me as a part complete package, along with the Missouri electric water pump. Now, real quick over here, in case you're wondering what these big ugly things are right here, these are self-fabricated bracing. Since I've got this big giant hole cut out on the side, now Porsche enthusiasts call that the hell hole, along with the hell hole on the other side, and that's because the battery used to mount right there, and any kind of battery acid used to drop down there or water get caught up in there. And also in these, what they call sails right here, these are known as the sails, they put like styrofoam up in here or some kind of caulking, and water would get caught up in here from the splash pan and so forth. But anyway, what I wanted to show you here is a couple of things down here. Let me get my little old 56-year-old body down here. This is where the radiators are actually going to sit up in here. So you can see I've got my cheap eBay ducts on the side. These are actually supposed to be hood scoops for decoration, but I went ahead and got myself these little bitty bolts, tapped them into the back side, and on the front I've got two, looks like M10 bolts up in there, of course on both sides. Now those two Michimoto radiators fit on this side, along with a spout fan on this side, and then that big giant, where is it at? It's the big green, big blue cable right here that says fan, and then the ECU takes care of all that. Now, while I'm down here, I'll show you all this bracing that I did. Let me get my light down here. So I put this bracing in here. This bracing also made, this basically hooks to the swing arm on the back, just to take all that power that I'm gonna have instead of 90 or 110 horsepower, I'm coming out with 430 here. So what I've also done here is made these nice little braces here. These are all hand fab stuff, and I just joined it from here. And by the way, this cross member piece right here is again from Renegade Hybrids in Nevada. Scott and Travis and all those guys have helped me out as far as little small details like that. Now I did modify it slightly because I moved my engine up about an inch. But again, these are all pieces, and I'll see if I can get my GoPro all the way over here, and I've got my cross member support on here. Just adds a little rigidity, if that's the word, to the whole process. But all these parts right here, like this, and the motor mounts for the LS motor mounts, and this beautiful cross member right here is coming from Renegade Hybrids in Nevada. Another thing right here, this adapter plate is from Kenny Engineering Products, and that's all mounted and ready to go up in here. And then I got my hydraulic actuator on here. I know it's not politically correct to say slave cylinder motor, but that's what it is. And I got the master in the front, and Scott and team, again, Renegade Hybrids also send me those parts. And in the back, this is a Boxster S transmission 6-speed, and that's basically their kit. That's it from underneath here, except for this big giant spaghetti mess right here. That actually looks a little intimidating, but it's pretty simple. And if you look right up underneath here, I'm gonna build a little mini dog box coming up from the top, and that's where all this extra cable is gonna be coiled up nice and neat and stored right up in here. Imagine probably about 3 inches down and maybe 10 inches that away, just so I can store all this stuff. And again, here's all my reinforcement, plug welding stuff. Again, just to stiffen everything up back here a little bit. And then if you notice back there, you see that where those 2 ties come in? That, do my little magic stand-up maneuver in a couple of seconds. Those actually come in right here, cross support, and bridge right over here, and go down here. And then again, I've plug welded the crap out of some really thick, I think this is 2 millimeter right here. So it's pretty thick. Moving over here, this is that same Boxster S trans or the shifter, and I'm kind of proud of this myself. I went to Summit Racing, get some of the dust off of here, and got myself a nice 6-speed knob. And then this is the original Boxster S, except what I did is I drilled little bitty holes in there, put little concaves in there, polish it up, and then I'm going to have the guy in Erlensee, Germany, actually do a nice little leather boot for that. And then again, I left some of these open here. I'm going to have a little display case where I can lift up and down Coke holders and shit like that. But I had to make this level. Here's where I had it, but if I found to put it here, my elbow would actually hit right here every time I try to shift gears or go into high gear or low gear. This right here, these will be screwed down, and this is where my fuel will run through here. I think the rear brake cable runs through here, but I don't have that big giant crap to deal with anymore because this is actually cable driven right now. And the same thing up here, and I welded this shit down right here, and what's going to happen here is I'll cover this in nice carpet and actually glue it down. There's my throttle position sensor actuator pedal controller, so all that stuff's ready to go. And while I'm on this side of it, I'll show you the vintage AC air conditioning system. So all that's already mounted in there. Here's what this looks like right here. This is Roland's TIG welding. I can spot weld, TIG weld, but to make it look like this, that's Roland's job. He's a really good guy. He lives right down the street from me here. What else we got here? Since the last video, plugged all this stuff up, went to eBay. This is like a, I don't know, a $15 unit, and it'll just run up here to here and here, and that's my water actuator because the gas tank sits right here. I've got this so I can lean it out a little bit and just push it up. I'll give you a view from that right on the inside right here if you can see that or not. So what else we got here? Easy wiring harness out of Florida. This thing's like 150 bucks. It's only 12 circuits, but I don't need anything more than that. And I went ahead and mounted my Mac Audio 4-channel amplifier. Or excuse me, sorry, it's a 2-channel amplifier, which is perfectly fine. On here, let me see if I can get my fingers underneath here. This is marine plywood, and that's going to be my storage area down there. But what I've done here is I put this cross member bracing up in here. If you can see that, my battery's going to mount right here in the front, and I'm also going to have the ability to right here mount some weight, like 20 pounds here, 20 pounds over here, because the problem with these things, unless you got a big spoiler on the front of it or air dam, these things are going to be kind of light in the front. Enough on this right here. Show you one more thing. I've got these little tabs welded in here before I painted. All this will be silver, and all this will run here and going through here. And I'm actually going to use the old venting right here to run those cables down there into there and all the way out the back for my rear lights. That's basically it. So since I'm back here, I think I've already showed you this. This right here, Scott, the owner of Renegade Hybrids, actually drew this out on a whiteboard and actually was nice enough to put it on YouTube for me. So I copied this because I've got 2 radiators instead of 1. So I've got all the flows down here. And these are all parts. I mean, they're really available. There's parts numbers on here, but they'll help you out with this. He sent me this for cheap. And if you can see in there, it's already got a thermostat in here. But it's important that you get the directions right on it. To a radiator, for example. So this one goes right there, which is this little piece right here. And for example, this F block, they call it. This is right here. Imagine they call it F block because it kind of looks like an F, depending on what direction you point it. I might actually recreate this one out of stainless steel pipe. and go back and forth, and the water pump, everything's already in here. And then these two right here, the overflow and the filler, I just showed you that. That's right there. And I went ahead and mounted my rear, I guess you call it a hood for the engine, just to make sure that I cleared that back there. But you can see what the paint's actually going to look like. I've already base coated that, cleared it twice, if not 3 times, and that's what it looks like. Now I'll repaint all this when I paint the entire car, but not a bad job. And since I'm talking about painting, you know, I always brag about my Optima spray gun, which is 35 years old. I bought it right down the road here in Germany when I first stationed over here. But this is the new Defilbus gun from GPC, or Defilbus in the GPC gun. And I figured, you know what? The technology, I'm sure, has probably been upgraded. This is the way the gun came right here. Got it from Summit Racing after doing a whole lot of online research. And it is what it is. And I like about this gun is you can change out the tip so you can spray filler sealer with it, primer, base coat, and obviously the clear coat with the different types of needles and seats, which all come in a complete package. And there it is right here. Haven't painted with it yet, but I think it'll turn out okay. What else do we got right here? I think I covered most of the stuff in here. Back over here, obviously these seats, they're okay for right now, but I'm gonna take these little center pops right here. You can pop them out of here. There they go. And I'll just take these to the upholstery shop, although this one is not that bad. That one over there kind of like looks really worn out, so I'll have the guy in Air Lindsay cover those for me. The only thing else over here is just the back side of that dog box, because, you know, I said it before, American cars over here, man, there's always room because it's just so big. You can put this there, you can put a stereo here. But this car, the German engineers between Volkswagen and Porsche back in the, I think it was mid-60s, late 60s, when they started developing this as a co-op team, man, every single little space, bracing was thought about in this car, so you can't just willy-nilly throw some shit in there. You've actually got to think about it. And let me point this out. This is some of my reinforcement plug welding from the backside, so I think it's going to be pretty stout, along with this nice fancy little crossbar I put in here. And this right here, and this right here, the other end of that one is where the rear of the transmission mounts. But what else can I show you here? That's it. The engine is in here. Probably within the next couple of days I'll take that sucker out of there and then scoot it to the back and then go from there. Here are those Michimoto, am I saying that correctly? Michimoto, one of these things has got a little, yeah, Michimoto radiators. These are about lying to you, about $210 a pop. And of course, I've got to move all kinds of crap around, so Rollon's going to aluminum TIG weld this for me right here. This one's going to point this way. This is where it used to be, and make them a cross flow radiator instead of a down flow radiator. This one stays the same. And then if you see right here, I've got all these little tabs, and in different places, I've got little lines drawn on here. Let's see my line now. Yeah, for example, like number 7 goes right here. The heart sign is right here. So I just match this up at his place, and he just TIG welds that on over here. Those are basically just mounts for the shroud I have to put on here. There are my 2 fans that are going on here. Again, all this stuff already mounts in there, and it works. And make sure you get yourself a good breaker bar. That one just cracked on me the other day. So, I don't know, what is it, Summer Racing? Anyway. Moving on back here, and as I'm walking to the back, I'm going to show you this little get off course here. Made this trailer hitch from a 55 Nomad. Love stuff like that. This is also going to be chromed by Jeremy in the chrome shop here. And nice to have connections, but that thing turned out pretty stout. That's a 1/2 inch steel plate with whatever that ball size is right there. And on the bottom here, I've got 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 M16 coarse thread bolts holding in my crossbar that I welded in here. And I'm also touching right here with the other frame, the original backing of the frame. So I think this is going to be no issue. By doing it this way, you stop that hideous damn square Reese's hook out here. So this right here, it'll be chromed. I can take it off with 4 bolts, or I can drive around with a chrome because I think it actually looks pretty good. It's going to be pretty damn stout. Headliner goes in this one probably before Christmas. Best purchase I ever did, cut your metal with the old 1950s metal cutting bandsaw. And while I'm in here, here are the rest of the parts. I've got a little bit of sanding to do right here. I've got a little low spot in here, so I ran my little lines. I know you're supposed to haze it with some paint, but I've got a little bit of block sand to do right here, but this door is almost ready to go. And let me show you one other thing up here. For example, that's my practice door. And for example, here, I've already got where my tweeter goes, if it's not too dark here, and this is where my max audio goes. Now you hear this? All that crap's gonna go away because all these will be dynamated from the inside after they get painted. And I'm dying to dynamate them now, but that's gonna defeat the purpose. And then right here, like I said, I've already sandblasted certain sections here, and I painted this summer out on the pasture out in front of the house. So this looks okay. If somebody comes and says, well, you got some pitting right here, the main thing is the rust is gone, and I just clear coated over it along with the primer that I put on there, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. Gas tank is ready to go. It's kind of dusty and dirty right now, but that is straight up 2K high gloss paint from the same company that sent me the GT Porsche Silver 2021, I believe it is. So there's my hardener, Härte, what the Germans call it, my clear coat, Klarlack, and there's my base coat. That goes on without mixing, 2-to-1, and then I've got my 2K acrylic filler, and that's the kind of stuff you put it on pretty thick. You can't get it to run. You let it sit up for about, I don't know, I let it sit for 2 or 3 hours, and then you do the wet dry sanding where they recommend 600 grit paper. I usually use about 800 grit paper, wet dry, and that thing turns as smooth as a baby's butt. Hit it with some tack cloth, spray your base coat on it, which is silver, which I heard is kind of problematic, but I've got all my thick 3 mil plastic here. I got 1, 2, and there's probably like about 5 rolls up in here someplace. There it is, way back there. Been hoarding that stuff. And along with some tape, I've got 2 fans here. I've got this fan I just got from Walmart, you know, $21. I've got another 2 fans, and then this right here will be my air evacuation system. Plus I got a German friend of mine who said let me borrow his mobile evacuation system. If you go up in here, I know I got a whole lot of fishing reels up here, but the fishing reels is dual purpose. I'll take these down, and those hooks up there will actually be the secondary. My paint booth is going to start right here. It's going to run across here, come over here, and we're always got these eyelet hooks up here. I just hang my curtain of plastic on the floor, put a little water in here, and again, this is not the first time I painted a car in here, but I've got a larger booth because at the same time I'm going to paint the hood. The doors will be hung vertically in here with that hook, that hook, that hook, and that hook, and that way, I guess the way that base coat metallic lays down, you have to have it in a vertical condition because it'll be the same when you put these doors on right here. So look, I know I've been talking a long time. Hopefully I kept this right at about 10 minutes, but been on the road a lot. We did do a road trip in the USA with my 59 flat top Bel Air. Left that went all the way from Tampa to Dallas, Texas on the back roads. And I'm trying to actually piece together another video to show you that. I started on it last night, but anyway, that's about it. Take care, bye-bye. Damn, I'm at 19 minutes right now. Time to stop talking, bye-bye.